Hey guys, it's me Nas, and I'm going to react to 10 Triple H biggest mistakes since taking over WWE. Now, it's kind of bit understandable that, you know, making these creative decisions or taking over creative is not the biggest, it's not the biggest and easiest jobs to do because some of us commit mistakes or committed mistakes in the past, and again it takes a lot of time to progress and to fix everything. What is the things that we need to improve, and what are the things that we need to know that are lacking? But regardless, Triple H did a good job, but there are some things that needed to be addressed. That there are some mistakes that he committed while he takes over WWE, and again, this is a guy that helped and created NXT's Black and Gold into something that we enjoyed during the PG era. But now we're going to start watching the video of how many of these mistakes, or basically what were the biggest ones that he had.
Of Triple H's biggest mistakes since taking over WWE. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on WrestleMania XL. Number 10. Glorified PR stunts. And whilst there's no question that the sheer quality of Raw, SmackDown and Premium Live events have drastically improved under Triple H, they aren't without criticism. A lot of fans feel that the shows are glorified PR stunts, and it's easy to see why so many fans feel this way. The debut of Raw on Netflix was WWE basically telling the audience how popular the product is, and they bragged endlessly about the gate number. Whilst promoting the gate number makes sense from a business perspective, it shows that the ticket prices are insanely high right now, and it puts fans in a weird position. Are they just supposed to cheer the fact that they were potentially overcharged to attend a wrestling event? Now, one thing is for sure, WWE is red hot right now, but they don't need to remind the audience every 5 minutes. The reception to the product, along with the ratings as well as attendance, should speak for itself. This is definitely an element of the WWE presentation that Triple H is just obsessed with, and his infamous line of WWE is on fire right now, and you ain't seen nothing yet, has turned into a comedic meme on social media. Number 9. Sponsorship overboard. A wrestling company such as WWE having sponsors isn't a new concept, yet this has been a pivotal focus of WWE's business model since around 2022. WWE have sponsorship deals from Prime to Fortnite, and these will bring in lucrative numbers for the company. But the problem here is that WWE potentially have too many sponsors. The map for Raw is now filled with logos and adverts, and it makes WWE's flagship show just look like one big advertisement. Now, this may not even be a Triple H call. All these calls could likely go above his head. But WWE are definitely leaning towards a more UFC style of branding and marketing, and this is only likely to increase as the months and years go on. WWE even have a deal with Hulk Hogan's new beer company, and to promote this, they even had Hogan appear on the debut episode of Raw on Netflix, and naturally, due to Hogan's rotten reputation, he was booed out of the building. This resulted in mainstream news outlets picking up the story, and it vastly overshadowed the Netflix premiere. It was ultimately a terrible creative call that Triple H and WWE should have had the foresight to see coming. Number 8.
Yeah, because again, like we went back on this, people hated Hogan because of the racial slur he said, and that's the thing. It's not really Triple H's fault when it comes to the sponsorship, because let's face it, if the product is red hot, of course there will always be that sponsorship where they're going to ask WWE if it's okay for their products to be promoted. And of course, like, that's the thing about having sponsorship. Yes, you can argue that a UFC has that ring style mat, and I know all the hardcore fans wanted no sponsorship around the ring mat, but that's how it is. Like, some people should understand that, one, this company was owned by TKO now. All right, so if TKO owns UFC and now WWE, of course they're gonna do the same style by whoever going to be the higher management of those sports company. They'll be the ones to make the decision. And plus, look, Triple H is the one who made the crazy decision. So the one thing I could say, if they have plans for Hogan to promote, that is one of his biggest mistakes, to start over Netflix, putting Hope promoting his brand, and then rain down the boos from the crowd. It's not a good fit. So again, that's one of those things now that they have to take notes, because again, if the person that the fans doesn't want to see, that's the thing. They should be very careful on this.
8. The Wired Six. The Wired Six debuted on WWE TV in the summer of 2024. WWE hit a home run with their debut. The group had an instant aura surrounding them, and the faction annihilating WWE staff members backstage was completely unique. Unfortunately, this was the standout moment of the group's run so far, as since then, the group has been presented as a special attraction and they barely appear on television. It's evident that Triple H believes that keeping the group as special attractions will give them worth, yet the stories that the group have been involved in haven't exactly been fan favorites. The game has had a tough time striking the balance between the supernatural elements and their real-life stories. The latter of the two has been a definite triumph. However, in recent months, it looks like Triple H has moved away from this. The stable remains over with the audience, so it's not a total bust. However, the game needs to reevaluate the direction of the group and focus on a compelling angle that will at least help get the motivations and characters of the group across to the audience. Number 7.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Right now, it is a problem because they are drafted to SmackDown, which now, what is the direction? Who are they gonna face? And the thing is this, right? Yes, special attraction, I get it, but how are they going to, use them in a way that people will think, oh, you know what, Triple H kind of forgot booking these guys, and that's the thing, I know that he's giving everything he could to, to make the shows better, to let all the rosters be, used, because of course, if some of them are not gonna be used, despite that they're are in their contracts, like they're in catering or something, it's like one of those things that right now Triple H should at least try something to use them, because it's such a waste if they ain't gonna do anything with them. And right now Royal Rumble is around the corner, so are you going to give a chance to either of those members to be part of the Royal Rumble or not? That's the thing. There's also a lot of opportunities. There were rumors that SmackDown is going for 3 hours. If that's the case, who are they gonna feud with? And that's the thing. Like, Triple H tries, he gave it everything he could to book this faction, but I hope they won't fumble it, because again, this is one of those things that, is it gonna work out or is it not gonna work, in terms of, is it a hit or miss type. But I hope that they're gonna make this work, because look, they have a lot of potential to be this group of being dominant, but now it goes nowhere.
Pointless re-signings. When Triple H took over WWE Creative, one of his first aims was to rehire a lot of his favorite names that had been released under Vince McMahon's tenure. And this was the right call, as most of the names didn't receive an opportunity to show their skills on the main roster. And to his credit, the game has booked certain names incredibly well. Names such as Chelsea Green, Nia Jax, and even Bronson Reed have all had acclaimed second runs in the company, yet the same couldn't be said for everyone. Triple H brought back names such as Hit Row and Tegan Knox, and they did nothing whatsoever with them. The game basically brought them back into the mix with no creative plan in place. And this was the exact criticism that fans used toward McMahon when it came to NXT call-ups. When anyone is signed or re-signed to the company, there should be a plan in place before they appear on television. Without this, they'll lack direction, and the on and off again appearances on TV will quickly make fans lose interest, and ultimately fail to get them over to the level Triple H desires. Number 6.
That's the same thing. If the fans lose interest, what's gonna happen? At some point, they tried. They tried their best to rehire them and give them a chance. The problem is that if the fans lose interest, that's the thing. You're gonna get either budget cut or you're gonna get released as soon as possible. And that's the thing, like, for some of the wrestlers, they have this idea that they wanted to present their character while others, they just, they don't have a character, which that could be a problem at some point, where does the fans wanted to see this person or not. But regardless, it's kind of sad that most of those wrestlers has that potential, while others, they don't think they can fit in. But again, good thing that they did not sign a lot of wrestlers that at some point it's gonna be a waste. What matters is that they sign wrestlers that we understood that Triple H is gonna give a chance on them, and hoping that there is a right place and right time for the creative decision. Because if not, well, that's the case. And we all know that there are other wrestlers at one point that Triple H didn't prioritize, had to leave the company or got released, of course. Because what people don't realize is that the crowd is important, where you have to make something out of yourself that people will love, and then if they appreciate what you're doing and they found interest in you, you would stay. But if not, that's how it is. You're not gonna stay that long, and that's how it is when it comes to being part of the business.
Show style PLEs. Now, it goes without saying that Triple H books his premium live event match cards completely differently to Vince McMahon. McMahon often liked to stack his match cards, and sometimes the pay-per-view events, particularly WrestleMania, could run in excess of 5 hours in length. But Triple H likes to keep his events short and sweet, and he's received major backlash for sticking to a 5-match PLE format and rarely deviating away from this. Triple H's PLEs are great from an in-ring perspective, but they lack any substance. Some fans have labeled them as glorified house shows, and it's easy to see why fans have come to this conclusion. In Triple H's and WWE's mind, the PLEs sell out every single month without fail, so from a financial perspective, the formula works, yet they could do even better. Adding 1 or 2 more matches onto the show and incorporating an element of unpredictability and excitement could take the events to the next level and truly be the focal point of WWE's creative output. Number 5. How much is too
The thing is, yeah, it's good that they gave some time in those matches instead of a less than 8 minutes of a match. Because what's best about that decision, having a 5 match, I get that some people wanted more, but I feel like a 5 match in a PLE is already fine. Imagine that they gave what would be the required time that they're going to present that PLE. It has to be what, a 2-hour PLE? Does it have to be 2 hours and 30 minutes of a PLE, or 3 hours? Because regardless, they present the promo package at the same time. The matches of how many minutes they're going to let 2 wrestlers or 3 or any of the wrestlers going to compete. And at the same time, you know they decided to do this instead of more matches, because who knows, like, some people might think that, oh, this is too much, but I know that some people want more matches. But I feel like, especially that if there's big time matches or main event matches, has to be a bit longer. So you have to appreciate that, yeah, they lower it down. All right, so if people complain that it's too less, just understand, like, there's a reason why they make it too less right now, because they don't want to put too much on a PLE when we know it doesn't have to be necessary. um, and we don't need to see a matches that's lower than 10 minutes. They know the goal, where they have to try their best to make this match either 15 minutes, 20 minutes, as long as it makes sense.
too much. And whilst Triple H has no issues with sticking to his established PLE match card formula, he definitely has no problem with taking on the burden of additional content outside of PLEs. Over the past few months, Raw has returned to 3 hours, with there being no time limit on the show due to Netflix. SmackDown is now a 3-hour presentation. WWE have added regular Saturday night main event broadcasts to the lineup, and there are post shows left, right, and center. Again, this could all be a directive that is from a higher up in WWE, yet this could be seen as way too much. This assertion is based on the fact that nobody knew WWE had a Saturday night's main event show planned for January, just 1 week before the 2025 Rumble.
Yeah, it's like one of those things that, do they really need to advertise after the previous Saturday's night main event, because I feel like they should at least done that before WrestleMania, or somewhere like you could argue after WrestleMania. But putting it around, the next month, it's like, okay, before the Royal Rumble, it's like that's kind of a bit too much, I guess, or in some case, it depends on the schedule. But when it comes to match stars, okay, they're gonna give it to someone like for a world championship match for Gunther and Jay, because the previous one was the WWE championship match. So this time they're trying to do things different to other wrestlers, so that they can, for the wrestlers who at one point wrestled last month, can take a little bit of a break, so that they will look forward for the Royal Rumble especially. But again, like, the schedule of it is kind of a bit confusing, but hopefully they can fix it. That's the only thing I could see as a problem.
WrestleMania season is already a stacked time of year, and WWE needs to let the product breathe. Fans can only consume so much, and maybe putting a little extra content into the PLEs instead of random sporadic shows could be a great step forward in 2025. Number 4. Pushing the right names. The WWE have one of the most popular and beloved rosters they've ever had, but that doesn't mean that everyone is over with the crowd. Certain names receive virtually zero reaction every week, yet Triple H continues to book them on weekly television. Take for instance the Pure Fusion Collective. The lack of reaction has resulted in the faction conveniently being known as the No Pop Collective on social media. WWE may have been able to get away with pushing names that aren't over for a few years ago, yet when names are receiving Austin level pops on a weekly basis, these names stand out for all the wrong reasons. Triple H also received a lot of criticism in regards to the Netflix Raw debut, leaving out key popular players on the Raw roster, including World Heavyweight Champion Gunther not even having a match, even though they're receiving major pops on a weekly basis. But Triple H had something to say about this during an episode on the press box, saying, "I've had the same conversation with 100 people about this first episode of Netflix. I said, guys, it's one show. We're gonna try to, touch on a lot of people, but there's only so much real estate within the show. You're not going to be on that show. Maybe you'll be on the second one. Maybe you'll be on the third one. Like you're going to be on these shows. We can't put all 200 talent or whatever we have on one show. It's just not going to work, but it's how they should feel. It's how I would feel if I was talent. Now some are not buying this."
Yeah, well explained. It's one of those things. There will always be given chance on any night. And the thing is, like, some people love to argue just because, oh, you didn't put your world champion in the show. Look, it's for, like, I get it's just 4 matches, and the way they present it is just 2 hours. It's their decision when or how much hours they're going to put in. But the fact that, people complain, why just Gunther not have a match? Well, he did appear the next week on the second episode of Raw on Netflix. And the thing is that they're trying to, they don't make this as a pure PLE that every champion should defend, or one of the biggest champions, or like the WWE and the World Heavyweight Champion. They're trying to, separate that. It's kind of a bit confusing at one point that, yes, they put Roman and Solo Sokola, who are SmackDown guys. They put them to Raw so that they can promote them for Raw on Netflix, the first episode. So now it's one of those things that, okay, they're trying to, give other rosters a chance, because it's not like every wrestler should be in that one show. When you look at, for example, Vince McMahon, how he booked wrestlers, he always used the ones who are either popular, or you could argue, the crowd that's going to look forward. While other wrestlers, who are in catering, because they never given a chance, what Triple H is doing, he's going to give some chances to those wrestlers, and that is a good way. You notice why every tournament he had, the recent tournament for the Women's US Championship and the Women's Intercontinental Championship became triple threat. He's trying to put all these tournaments in order to give others a chance. There are some wrestlers who's going to appear, but not everyone is going to appear at the same time, unless if you're hella popular. And that's the thing, you know. I don't know why people give this type of complaint, but I get it. This is just people who loves to voice out their opinion when they don't know. They are not the ones booking the show, and that's the thing. Some of you guys might be thinking, does it really be necessary? I don't know, but that's how it is.
As the many legends who appeared like The Undertaker and Hulk Hogan, they took up precious time from a match that could have involved a World Heavyweight Champion Gunther. Number 3. Flop Gable. In 2024, it was confirmed that Chad Gable had re-signed with WWE. This was delightful news as Gable had been delivering incredible work alongside Otis, and his matches with Gunther resulted in a number of classic bouts. Fans hoped that Gable would be able to finish his story and finally defeat Gunther to become Intercontinental Champion at WrestleMania 40. However, Triple H decided to go in the direction of Sami Zayn being the one to dethrone Gunther. Triple H would then embark on a heel turn for Gable, and whilst the character work for Gable has been great, he's mainly been used to put over other talent, which has become increasingly frustrating. Whilst this can be a good spot to be in, was this really what Gable expected when he re-signed with the company? But Triple H has also failed to deliver the hype Gable vs Otis feud, and he's proceeded to tease it for months on end, only to decide to deliver the match in late December after both men had already moved on. Hopefully Gable soon finds himself rewarded for his work, and Gable is certainly a name that has the capabilities to be propelled into a main event role if he's given the opportunity. Number 2.
Yeah, this is one of the mistakes that Triple H had. You know, it's good that they made him a heel. That's a great way because he's good. You know, the way he presents himself as a heel. But the moment that they didn't do the Gable versus all this thing, it's kind of been a missed opportunity because this is one of those things that they have a chance, all right? But you know, there are a lot of things that Triple H has to handle. And if this is one of those things that he can't handle, look, it's one of those things that hopefully that Chad Gable gets a deserving opportunity, whether if he wins the IC championship or anything that's deserving for him for all the hard work he put in. And yes, if you're a wrestler, it's kind of a bit frustrated that the more losses you get, the you thought that this is going to happen but it doesn't, you know, based on the decision of the company. And it's kind of, yeah, it's frustrating, but I hope that he earns any good opportunities in the future, especially because this guy, not only he can wrestle, he can be good in the mic as a heel, and I can assure you hopefully he has some things that, you know, good things may come to his way because, you know, he gave everything to the company.
To the tag team titles. One of the main things that fans wanted to see when Triple H took over creative was a focus placed on tag team wrestling, specifically the WWE tag titles. When Vince McMahon had created power in WWE, he had a love-hate relationship with tag team wrestling. McMahon would put focus on the division for a few months, then lose interest completely. This has been a similar approach that's been taken by the game, as since WrestleMania 40, the tag titles on both brands hadn't been featured on a single premium live event. This is a shocking statistic, and it highlights what Triple H truly thinks are the tag team titles. The presentation of the tag titles over on SmackDown hasn't been appalling, as DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns have been standouts. However, the same couldn't be said for Raw. The tag titles that are currently on Raw are classed as the most worthless titles in the company, and it was heavily criticized that the Judgment Day barely defended the titles during their reign of terror.
Yeah, this is also another mistake that Triple H had. The Raw Tag Team Champions are the only ones that barely defended compared to the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And this is one of those things that, yes, maybe not enough tag teams, I guess, or, you know, most people might be thinking, when is the right time to, you know, for Triple H to find a way to make tag team great again and let the tag championships or tag team championships be utilized, because in PLEs, recent PLEs, there is no tag team championships matches. It's like one of those things that what are the cases that he could at least do, especially right now in 2025. What are the things that he can improve that, because there are some individuals, some fans like tag team wrestling. So if you basically do this a lot, it kind of takes away the interest that at that moment, does the tag team champions matter now at that point? If you prioritize one tag team champions like in SmackDown compared to Raw, does the Raw Tag Team Champions matter now? Because I feel like there's a lot of, you know, criticisms that needs to be addressed, knowing that it's not easy to book how many matches, but if you left out a tag team championship matches, or letting one group become tag team but not barely defended, it's way worse. So I hope that, you know, Triple H finds ways on this, because again, you know, it's tough to separate both championships, you know, because at one point they unified, right, and they separated it for both brands. If they can't handle, I'm not suggesting for unify the championships again, but I hope that they find a way to, you know, do things right. Because when you look at the women's tag team championships, you know, they can defend anywhere, and that is the, in my opinion, the best decision. But when it comes to the men's side, now this is going to be a challenge for Triple H. How can he, you know, make this work, especially?
In fact, out of all the days that they were champion, they only made 2 defenses. And tag team wrestling can be a great addition to any card, and putting resources and effort into making their titles mean something would certainly be a welcome step forward for the game. And number 1, call it.
This is similar as well to Logan Paul when he was the US Championship. Again, yeah, Logan, he's a YouTuber, successful YouTuber, celebrity, but barely defending the championship. I was like, does are they doing it for marketing purposes? Because it's not like, you know, whenever he has a little bit of fans at that moment to be like, you know what, I'll watch WWE again because Logan Paul is there. The problem is that, you know, when you're handing championships and then you didn't utilize the champions, that is a problem. Even if Logan had to appear at those shows, he barely defending it, and that's the thing. I hope that, you know, if they're gonna give the championships to someone, utilize them, because they're your champions. If you're not gonna utilize them, that's the problem, basically.
Today, a long-term storytelling is sometimes vital in major stories getting over in pro wrestling. For Triple H, he views long-term storytelling as the #1 storytelling device available to him. The game loves to tell a story over a period of months or years, and this was a far cry from the approach that McMahon would take, as he would often try to wrap things up as quickly as possible, even at times not even ending them at all. While certain long-term storylines under the Triple H era, notably the Bloodline saga and Cody Rhodes' story, have been expertly crafted, some long-term stories have really fallen flat. The Liv Morgan vs Rhea Ripley rivalry dragged on for months with lazy storytelling and lousy matches, and this resulted in the fans urging for Triple H to wrap up the feud and just move on.
Yeah, that's the problem as well, because it's one of those things that if at some point the fans are tired of it, you just have to wrap it up immediately instead of stretch this out for a few more weeks or months, because at that point people will lose interest. And yeah, there's some storylines that make us feel like, you know what, keep this going, but there's some that at some point is going to, you know, needs to be stopped at that point because the fans doesn't care anymore, and that's how it is. But good thing now, the Liv and Rhea situation, hopefully they try to separate that, you know, feud, make Rhea compete against new opponents this time, so that, you know, to let others give a chance to compete. Hopefully that the direction that they're going to go stays that, rather than stays the same, because it's not gonna work if that's the case.
In fact, the feud was initially set to culminate at WrestleMania 41, which would have meant that the game decided to keep the feud running for an entire year.
Yeah, this is one of those things that I would see that, but the moment that they gave Rhea the championship, because of course the feud was so long, at that point you have to decide, you know what, to end this feud. But if they're going to go that direction, hopefully it's gonna work out, because if not, look, people are already tired of longer feud. This ain't new, because we had, you know, the bloodline situation between Cody and Roman, and there's some people at one point, you know, they are right with that feud because people are invested, but some people are already tired at that point. So this is the thing that do Liv and Rhea needed to be happening again at 41, or do you really want to end it there? Because I feel like it's better that you should end it at that moment and then decides for Rhea to face against anyone, and then Liv goes to a different direction this time. So hopefully it plays out pretty well.
Triple H without question has a habit of not knowing when to change things up, and this could be detrimental in the future, as it's vital that Triple H acknowledges how fans are feeling and adapt accordingly. But there you have it folks, 10 of Triple H's biggest mistakes since taking over WWE. Do you guys agree with them? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.
So that's the video, guys. Look, at some point, not everyone is perfect in their role, and Triple H, he did what he could to book these matches and to settle every type of storylines that is given for us fans. But yeah, hopefully that at some point he could at least improve a bit, whatever that problem is, so that he could at least do better. And again, expect more, that even if he commits mistakes, he's gonna do better as we go forward throughout the future. And that's all for the video, so give it a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also subscribe to WrestleMania, and also hit the bell for notifications for future uploads of videos. And I would say that thank you for watching. We will see each other in the next video. Peace.